Top 5 Kirby games. What's going on, YouTube fam? It's your boy, the wisest and most powerful of all nerds, Dreamland. Kirbys Star Allies releases for a Nintendo Switch on March 16th of this year. I cannot wait to play this game with my younger siblings and friends because it's a 4-player game and I love co-op games. I also want to pat myself on the back because I made yet another correct prediction saying that Nintendo will make another 4-player co-op Kirby game.
Last year on the King Kamara YouTube channel,
I would actually like more than one Kirby game for the Nintendo Switch, whether it's a remake or new installment in Kirbys Airride for another platform.
You can check out this video in the top 10 games that we need for the Nintendo Switch I made last year. So today we're going to go over my top 5 Kirby games. Why only 5 Kirby games instead of 10 when there are plenty of great Kirby games out there? Well, I'm going to be 100% real with you guys. I know that I am the wisest and the most powerful of all nerds, but not the wisest and most powerful when it comes to every single thing. Even Dreamland has limits. I've played and beaten a good amount or a good majority of the Kirby games, but I'm not an expert on all of them and I can't talk about all of them at length. And even worse than usual, I haven't bought any of the Kirby games for the 3DS. Even though I really want to. So, one of my New Year's resolutions is to play a lot more Kirby games in 2018. But there is still a few Kirby games that I can talk about at length. So, I will go over those in this video that I am most knowledgeable about. Before we begin, I want to remind you that you can buy King Kamara shirts of different designs on Teespring. The link will be in the description below, and you can also view content early if you become one of my Patreons on patreon.com. You can also become a co-executive producer and get a shout out in my videos. Special thanks to Tom Brown for becoming my first Patreon. With that being said, let's move on with the video. Kirby's Shattered Mirror. This was a Kirby game that somehow felt more like Wario World / Metroid game in terms of progression. There weren't really actual levels in this game. You had to go through a large labyrinth where you would enter worlds interconnected with each other via mirrors. I mean, there's boss fights and linearity to it, but there are also a much higher degree of open-endedness than any other Kirby game to ever come before it. I felt that for Kirby, it's not such a great thing, especially since you're constantly being warped in places that you have no idea are connected to one another. Regardless, it's still a fun game to play and it has amazing visuals for a Game Boy Advance game. Kirbys Adventure, one of the very final Nintendo IPs to be featured on the Nintendo NES. As a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, I believe this game came out for the NES after the Super Nintendo was already released. This game was the first to utilize Kirby's copy ability and offer a large variety of levels, which revolved around Kirby's ability to advance through levels using the multifarious abilities he would absorb from his enemies. Some enemies were rarer than others, and some abilities you could only obtain from certain bosses. This game also had a very cool soundtrack for its time, and debuted my most favorite Kirby theme and one of my most favorite video game themes of all time, Kirby's Butter Building. Kirbys Airride. What racing game that I would love to see make an epic return besides the F-Zero series is Kirbys Airride from Nintendo GameCube. This game was kind of like a combination of Mario Kart mixed with the Smash Brothers in a sense. I mean, it was developed by the same person, Masahiro Sakurai, but more so than that, it looked very identical to Smash Brothers Melee and other Smash Brothers games, especially with the menu. The game offers a lot of variety when it comes to game modes and has a killer soundtrack at that. The graphics of this game did not age that well in my opinion, so I think an HD rendition of this game would be a marvelous sight to behold. 4-player battle, 4-player racing. Other than that, this is one of the most unique kind of racing games out there. Kirby 64 Crystal Shards. I remember my brother getting this game for his 9th birthday. I was still 8 at the time. I remember even at that young age noticing that this game was really good, but it was just too short. like way too short. You can beat this game within a few hours or perhaps one sitting, even if you're a little kid. But the most memorable thing to me about this game is that it had a killer soundtrack, perhaps the best soundtrack of any Kirby game ever. It's really up there with Zelda and Pokemon games. The most unique aspect of this Kirby game is that you can absorb 2 enemy powers at once. For example, you can inhale 2 different fire type enemies and get double the firepower of 2 bomb type enemies or 2 electric type enemies. But you can also combine different power ups in the game for a large variety of moves. For example, you can combine fire with the cutter ability to make a fire sword. You can combine the electric with the cutter ability and make a dual-bladed lightsaber, as if you were Darth Maul. You could combine the fire and rock ability to turn yourself into a volcano. Some other power combinations were things like the refrigerator, ice skates, explosive ninja shurikens, etc. The game also had a multiplayer competitive mode that wasn't too deep or too advanced, but it was still very fun to play. And the more you completed the story mode, the more options you had to play in multiplayer mode. Kirby Crystal Shards offers a lot of quality, but it's one of those games that suffer from not enough quantity. Kirby's Return to Dreamland. Last year, when I made my top 10 list on games that we should get for the Nintendo Switch, I mentioned that we should have a Kirby game, and Return to Dreamland was one of the games that I had referenced. Return to Dreamland is very similar to Kirbys Adventure for the NES. But imagine that game being 4 players and going Super Saiyan 3. The game offers a 4-person co-op and allows you to play as 4 different characters, including Wallaby, Meta Knight, King DDD, and Kirby himself. It goes without saying that 4 people could be playing as Kirby or any combination of the said characters. I truly enjoyed the fact that all the characters are played differently. Kirby's copying ability got pushed to new limits in this game as well. Not only could Kirby perform super moves, but Kirby also had different movesets depending on which ability you could copy. For example, if a Kirby inhaled a fire enemy, he could breathe fire or turn himself into a fireball and do all sorts of things. If he inhaled a fighting enemy, it was basically as if you were playing Street Fighter in a Kirby game. I believe that most would agree that the boss battles are the most challenging in the series by far. In addition to that, the game also had challenge modes and one of the most extensive quests in any Kirby game, as well as a hard mode, as well as a few other game modes, such as a boss rush mode, giving this game the top spot on my list. Anyway guys, that wraps up my top 5 Kirby games. I am super excited for the Kirby Star Allies game to come out for Nintendo Switch. I'll be streaming it on release day on my Twitch account, so if you can, follow me on Twitch as well, so you can be treated to the best live entertainment you've seen anywhere. And if you're interested, don't forget to check out my Patreon so you can see videos on my YouTube channel early. That being said, it's your boy, Brimeezus, the wisest and most powerful of all nerds. I will see you guys next time on my Twitch and also on YouTube with my Kirby Star Allies review.